Hi, my name is Jillian Hoffer, and for my biology role model project, I will be covering Dr. Claudia Wascher. This is Dr. Claudia Wascher. She is currently a professor in the School of Life Sciences at ARU in Cambridge. Dr. Wascher was interested in science from an early age. In an interview that I did with her, she told me that when she was about 5 years old, she got a book about animals from her great-grandmother, and she remembers this as one of the earliest things that inspired her to become a behavioral biologist. She grew up in rural Austria, and when she was young, there were very few scientist role models in her community. Many people she knew told her that she couldn't be a biologist because she wouldn't be able to find a job. Despite these obstacles, Dr. Wascher pursued her goal of becoming a behavioral biologist. She received a Master's of Science in Biology and Environmental Science from the University of Graz in Austria, and then received a PhD in zoology from the University of Vienna, which is also in Austria. When I asked Dr. Wascher about her hobbies, she told me that although most of her time is spent on her work, she does enjoy spending time with her family and with her dogs. She also says that when she has free time, she likes to go back home to Austria to visit her family, as well as to Germany to visit her wife's family. Some things that I admire about Dr. Wascher. One thing is that she is very focused on diversity, equity, and inclusion. From 2019 to 2024, she led the team that worked on gender equality in the Faculty of Science and Engineering at ARU. She's also given talks about gender equality and LGBTQIA+ inclusion at conferences. Another thing that I admire about her is what she studies. She studies animal social behaviors, which is a topic that I have a lot of interest in. Most of these studies are done in social birds, which is interesting to me because a lot of people don't really think of birds as smart, even though research has and continues to show that many birds have great cognitive abilities. To be more specific about what Dr. Wascher studies, she focuses on social cognition, vocal communication, and social physiology. The first one, social cognition, is the study of what cognitive mechanisms drive social behaviors in animals that live in groups. The second one, vocal communication, is studying how different factors, whether they be cognitive or social, can influence how birds communicate with each other. Dr. Wascher specifically focuses on the vocal complexity of corvids, which are birds like ravens and crows. The third one, social physiology, is the study of how things change internally in birds based on social interactions. One specific study that Dr. Wascher has done was titled You Sound Familiar. Carrion crows can differentiate between the calls of known and unknown heterospecifics. In this study, her team tested whether or not carrion crows, a member of the corvid family, are able to distinguish between familiar and unfamiliar heterospecifics, which are members of a different species. During the study, the researchers tested the crows on both human sounds and the calls of another type of bird known as jackdaws. The way they tested them was by allowing the crows to enter a test compartment on their own and then playing familiar and unfamiliar sounds. The familiar sounds were those of people and jackdaws the crows knew and were around often, and the unfamiliar sounds were those of people and jackdaws the crows had never met. The researchers would record the crows' movements during these tests and make a note of the number of reactions. The on-screen graph here was the graph of the difference between reactions to unfamiliar and familiar human voices. All of the sounds played during this part of the experiment were female voices saying just the word hey to get rid of any possible reaction to different words. When familiar voices were played, you can see that the crows reacted between 3 and 8 times, with an average between 5 and 6. When the unfamiliar voices were played, crows responded between 5 and 8 times, with an average of around 7. As you can see, on average, crows responded more to unfamiliar human voices, meaning that the crows could in fact tell the difference between familiar and unfamiliar humans based on sound alone. I'd also like to talk about some other things that Dr. Wascher has already discovered and her next steps. For her PhD, Dr. Wascher did research on gray-lag geese, and she discovered that their heart rates will actually increase when they witness another goose doing something, even if they're not actively doing something themselves, or when being a bystander. The second thing here, and something I especially want to highlight, is from a recent paper by Dr. Wascher titled Crows Are Natural Statisticians. Dr. Wascher writes in this paper that, quote, this, for the first time, shows that a corvid species can flexibly apply statistical inference during decision making. This is very interesting because it shows evidence of very high-level cognition. For a long time, statistical inference was thought to be a purely human thing. During my interview with her, I asked Dr. Wascher what her next steps in the scientific community would be. She told me that she wants to support her students in their scientific journeys and allow them to become more independent in their fields. She also says she aims to make science more inclusive, continuing her work with diversity, equity, and inclusion. Dr. Claudia Wascher is a great scientist and very dedicated to her field. She has done a lot of incredible research, and she has really inspired me through her work. I hope that she inspires you in the same way. Thank you for watching.